First question, of course, would be why do you want to be a member of the House of Representatives in Pennsylvania?
Well, actually, I think that my background lends itself nicely to the House seat. Many of the challenges that we've faced recently on the state level have been financial in nature, and so as a result, I believe my skill set is particularly useful to that. We've had a number of, we've had the political types that have gotten us into this mess. I think that, what we need is someone with some financial sense to help us lead us out of that. As far as that goes, I've always had a desire for public service, and so, the idea of running for office, obviously I ran previously. The idea of running for office is something that I embrace. I believe that it's something that I'm called to do, and and I hope that the voters will agree with that. Beyond that, I think that we probably started out this year in a very much different vein. If we all had this conversation on January 1st, we would have assumed that everything would have been the same. In fact, I remember saying to someone, boy, it's going to be a very unusually quiet year. And then obviously one thing happens and then another thing happens, and before you know it, there are vacancies that we probably didn't anticipate. I have the good fortune of being in the 119th district, and so that vacancy opened up, and I just think it's something that I can really supply the voters with a different level of experience.
And when you heard about that opening in the district, did you consult, who did you consult with, and have you spoken with other state representatives or former state representatives to get some feedback from them?
Yes, as part of the process, early on when the opportunity, it became clear that the opportunity was available, I went through the process of, excuse me, I'm going to apologize for that, but I went through the process of consulting a number of people, and sitting state representatives, former state representatives from other parts of Pennsylvania that I had an opportunity to meet, and I think that I developed a sense of what's going on in Harrisburg, where we need to kind of fill the gaps. Obviously, as the process went on, it became a matter of, do we really want to do that? That became a family decision, and the answer was yes. I'm happy to say that my family is in full support of this, and they're out with me on the campaign trail, so that makes life a lot easier.
Did you speak with Representative Unicha?
No. John and I did have a conversation, and I believe he had a conversation with everybody that was interested in running. And he indicated that he was not going to support anybody that he had a race to run, and that makes a lot of sense. And but he was helpful in just kind of giving us all, I think, a lay of the land. I would imagine that his conversations with other candidates were as open as they were with me. He gave me a sense of maybe a direction as far as some projects that are in the works now, and things of that nature, that things that he's been working on, and but beyond that, we really haven't. We see each other on the campaign trail, but that's about it.
There was another individual who put his name in as a potential and subsequently has pulled out of the race. And the reason that he cited was that he was knocking on people's doors, and what he called a rude awakening. Said there was angry door slamming, hostile conversations, and lack of interest in becoming registered voters. Are you knocking on doors, and what's your experience been?
Yes. I met with Justin after that, and we kind of discussed that experience. I will tell you that I have had very limited instances of actual voter anger. There is a goodness in the people of Luzerne County that I think shines through. We go through a great deal. We've gone through quite a bit in the last 2 years, and they're made of sterner stuff, and they realize that I think that the opportunity to have some new people involved, people that have not been necessarily part of the process before, is probably a good thing. I have to tell you that I didn't get the sense. Now, I mean, if you were asking people to register, maybe that might have been the case. I'm talking with a lot of folks who are longtime voters. I think they've seen the process unfold. I think there's been a genuine excitement. There's been a politeness. There's been a lot of encouragement. So I have not found those things to be the case.
What do they want to talk to you about? Is there a common theme that you...
Oh, I think that some of the things. One of the themes that comes out quite often is I don't care what you promise to be otherwise, just be honest. I think that there's a little bit of a corruption fatigue going on, and I think that that's something that we genuinely see. Whenever we're knocking on the door, I remember having a conversation with someone who had been involved in political life many years ago, and I remember him describing somebody as saying that, well, he seemed like an honest guy. He said, I didn't think we'd ever have to say that. And I think that, there was a perception out there that, people who wanted to serve and, were at least, basically honest. And, I think that that's probably the toughest question you have to answer. Other than that, I think property taxes and, taxes in general are an issue. People are concerned about, the rising cost of everyday life, and the fact that, we've just had a 15% increase in property taxes here in Luzerne County. That certainly is noticeable. Some of our constituents or some of the voters have had a 30% increase in their electric bills. There is not a magic pot of money, and they're especially folks on Social Security. They didn't get a cost of living increase last year, so their question is, where does this come from? And I think that that's something that is a topic of conversation, but primarily I think the honesty issue. And I will say that a number of people, and it's a credit to John, do say, well, we hope you're going to be a representative like John Yudichak is. And clearly he has a lot of his constituents who feel very strongly about him.
Jobs. Do they talk to you about jobs?
They do. I mean, we've talked about job creation. It clearly is an issue, but quite honestly, I think in order, the corruption issue, and that corruption issue is not related only to Luzerne County. That corruption issue is also located in Harrisburg. The issue of using state employees for partisan politics while on the state payroll, that comes up. I think people will gladly pay for government as long as they feel that that's what they're getting. Not that it's a machine, for, an incumbent protection plan, essentially.